In this video, we're going to explore in chart.js how to create a target tracker or a sales tracker dashboard, where we can easily track the sales, as you can see here in our chart, where we have a line, which is our target, and then we have matching colors depending on if we hit the target, as you can see here, green. If we hit the target of the car sales, for example, it becomes green, and if we are below target, it becomes red. And what we want to do is eventually, if we adjust the target, right now the target line is at 5. So if people are hitting 4 sales or 4 car sales, then they hit the target, it becomes green. As you can see here, we are adjusting these colors here. And that's basically what we're going to do, and we can increase this and adjust this. And besides that, if you would adjust the color, let's say we have a blue color by default, you can see it starts to change blue. And if we make this, let's say a yellow color, you will see, oh, it's a very tight but hard to view color. Let's make it slightly more softer. Alright, that's a pastel green, that's fine. So if we adjust this, you can see now it starts to adjust and becomes green or blue, depending on the color we have selected and depending on the target, or if you are above or below target. And you can see here, we can see everyone's sales target in here. So this is what we're going to do here, and to do this we're going to use chart.js version 2.9.x, or to be more specific, version 2.9.4. I'm aware there's a beta version of chart.js 3.0, but it's still in beta, so I prefer not to use that for now. Alright, so to do this we have to check on a few steps. So we have 9 specific steps that we have to solve. Number 1 is add a Bootstrap theme. Number 2, add a chart.js design or chart.js JavaScript library. And of course, we're going to make the basic line chart. We're going to start with a line chart because this canvas here is not a line chart only. This is a combo bar line chart, meaning there's a bar chart in here and a line chart. And there's a reason why I'm going to first create the line chart before we add the bar chart in here. So I will explain it later on as well. Once we did that, we will create the card design, which is this here. And then what we will do is here, we will add the canvas card. So one side will be the canvas, the other side will be the input, which is step number 5. Add input fields with the IDs matching, so we can connect this to JavaScript, which is the step number 6. Step number 7 is once we connect those to JavaScript, we're going to build the combo bar line chart structure. So we're going to work on that one. After that, we're going to create an update function where it will automatically update the values depending on what we input here in the tracker, or the color design that we selected. So those will be updated in the update function, so it'll be responsive and interactive. And finally, we will fine-tune the bar line chart to make it exactly as how it is here. Alright, so if you're interested in chart.js and you want to learn more about chart.js and go more deeper even, check out my chart.js course on Udemy. The link is in the description box, and in there we cover everything you can imagine about chart.js. So it will give you a very, very solid understanding of chart.js. Alright, so let's start. And to start, we have a basic template here. You can see here, this is our template. This will be our bar line chart. So if I see this and refresh, save that and refresh, you can see here now this is it. Alright, to start with this, let's go and do step number 1, which is add the Bootstrap theme. The Bootstrap theme is this one. I will get Bootstrap 5.0. Get started. Click on get started here once you are on getbootstrap.com, and in here we go to instructions for introduction. Scroll down halfway through, you will see a starter template, or you can click on this one here. I'm going to copy this starter template, which is the default template. I like this a lot. It's very good to start with. Alright, just paste this in here. And you see all this excess codes here that is commented out. I'm going to remove them. This is just extra weight that we don't need and distraction. Alright, so we have this, and we can just say here combo bar line chart. And in here we can also give it, I'll just remove this for now, we don't need this. But when I say here class, then I say here, because we're going to make the background color green, like this, matching. So we're going to give it a green background color, just simple here, BG success. Alright, so once we have that in here, we can now work with the columns. As you can see here, we're going to add up the columns here. You can see this one here, there should be a column space or offset of 2, and this here is a width of 8 column sizes. Alright, so I say here div class column dash 8, and then we say here offset 2. Alright, we've got that. And then to make sure, so we have some space between, or some space up and down, as a margin Yankee or Y 5. Alright, so margin Y5 meaning top and bottom has a space between the margin of 5, and that's probably about 20 or 25 pixels, and that's more than enough. Alright, in here we're going to make a div class, and here just for the closing tag, and then we can do here, it's basically this. What I will do here, I will say here card, then I make here another div class, and then I say here card body, and then I say here a combo. This should be combo, and then we can just copy this one, that's alright. So we have at least a structure here with a heading. Oh, and then let's go back here. Alright, we have one part now working. If you refresh, beautiful. So now we did step 1, we added the theme and we have some design. Let's start to add the chart.js. So we go for that, we go to chart.js.org, click on get started, and in here we're going to get the line chart. So if you have a line chart, you can see here, this is the bar chart. Let's go to getting started, where we have a canvas ID. We'll just copy that for now, and I'm going to put that here below. And this canvas ID, we will call it combo chart. Alright. Once we have that, we have here the script. So we can copy this script, and this is 2.8.0. You can adjust it to 2.8 versus 2.9.4. So I will just put it here down. I prefer to put this below the JavaScript because of the Bootstrap, because this JavaScript is related to the design of the template. So this one would be specifically for the chart. Alright, you can adjust it to 2.9.4 like that and save that, that's fine. What I'm going to do is, because I already saved this on my dashboard or on my computer, so I don't have to do any adjustments. All I need to do is to type in the right file. This is the file that I have, and the reason I'm doing that is because it will save me time in loading every time the file, so it will be faster for you as well. Alright, so once we've got that, we can copy this part here. This is basically a basic line chart that we need. We just copy all of this, and I'll say here script, and then we just paste it all in here. There we are. Then here we need to do a few adjustments. You can see here we have variable, context, and then document that get added by ID. So what is our ID right now? Well, let's look at our canvas ID is combo-chart. Copy that, add it in here. And I have a video covering what this exactly means, which is related to the canvas ID or canvas tag, which is quite fun to learn if you want to know under the hood how chart.js truly works. It's quite fascinating. Alright, so in case you want that, check out that video as well. So we have this now. We can save this. If we save this and we go back here and refresh, we have now our line chart. But of course, our line chart it's quite big. By default, it takes 100% of the width. And you can see it's big. We're going to put a card like this here. Alright, to do this, we're going to build a card here. And for that, we can do again a Bootstrap design, because we're going to get the Bootstrap card. So we're going to search here for cards. Can I find it here? I don't see it straight away, so I type in card. And there you are, it pops up. We select it, we scroll down, and I'm going to show you which one we're going to use. Halfway through here, you will find the card design. Let me check. Alright, there we are. This is the horizontal card. That's exactly the one we need. And it has a fixed width here. Do not worry about this. This we will be adjusting. So let's copy all of this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to store it here below. But before I do that, I will give this a margin bottom 3. So it has some space below. Then we just paste in this card. I'm going to make some indentations here. Alright. And I'm going to remove the max width. We don't need that. That's because it will block our width or the length of our canvas. And we don't need that because we have a fix. We already set up the width. Alright. We've got this, we've got that. Here, this image can be removed because instead of image, we're going to add up our canvas ID. So we're going to cut that out there and paste it in here. Make sure that this column, I will just make this 6. I don't have to do MD. I will just remove everything, just make it 6. That's fine. So once we have this, in here, we'll be working on another item. So let's remove all of this. And here, while saving this, if you go check here now, if you save and refresh, you can see now we have our card and we have our chart in the right location. As you can see here, we already did the create the card design and we add the canvas in the card. Now we're going to work on the input fields and ID, which is this part here, the target tracker. To do that, we go back to Bootstrap, that is this page here. And we're going here, we're going to search for forms. Basically what we want to do is the following. Let me explain that. We have here, this is a form, and this form is basically 2 columns specifically. One is a text or input form, which can be the input number, and this is a default text form in a input style, and this is the color picker input. So we have basically here, this could be 8 and this could be 4, or you could adjust this to this would be 10 and this would be 2. It's up to you. I'll try to push this more to the end here, which would make it more practical. So what we're going to do here now in Bootstrap, we're going to look for the forms, and then I'm going to search here for forms. Oh, there we are, forms. And then in here, form control. That's the one we need. We scroll down and somewhere halfway through again, we will find a inline scroll or an inline form. And this is the one we need. This is basically, as you can see, this is a text. Type is text, read only. That's what we need. We can copy this, then after we can remove this, we can remove this one, and we have these only left. Alright, let's copy that. Then we paste this in here. Let's put it in there, and then I'll put some indentations. And in here, we're going to work on it. Alright, so what do we have here? Well, we have a label. We don't need the label, because what we need is specifically the input type text, and this is read only, which is already set for us. That's perfect. ID here, we don't need this. The value, we will work on that one later on. And here the column ID, this will, the column length will be 10 columns in this case, and later we can check if 10 columns is more than enough. Alright, so I'm going to cut this out for now, because probably will need that later on. And, oh, well, we can put it in here. And the reason why we put it in here is simply one reason. This will be an input, but this will be input color. So this here label I will remove. We don't need the label. Next we do here, and this is the color. Input color, and then I'm using this quite often, so I know input control form color. If you're not sure, because this is still quite new, you can check here in color. So if you're going to go to Bootstrap back, you click here in color, you will see, and this is basically the one I'm using, form control dash color, whatever the ID is. And then we have the value, which will be a hex code color coding. Alright, so in here what we'll do is remove the placeholder. I'll just store this, and then the first one will be the target. So I will say this is 9009900. Let's remove this access div. No, that should not be there. So you can see we have a double div here. We're going to remove that div right away. Alright, what we do have is we have triple rows, or we have 3 rows to be specific. As you can see, row 1, row 2, row 3. So that's what we need here. We're going to do that as well. We have 3 rows. Then I'll enter and then enter again. So this one is the failure color or underachieve. And I will make this 2 times 9 the first one, because the first one stands for red, the middle is green, and the last 2 is blue, RGB. So remember that. Alright. So we've got this. We have the value here. Well, probably this value would be sales target or target achieved. hit achieve, and this one target not achieved. Alright, we've got that. Got this. Then we have here down. This is not text, or this one is, let's double check what this is. This is a number input, as you can see here. This number input can be inserted here. Say number. We don't say read only, we're going to remove that. And then we say here form control. Just remove the class. And the value here for now by default, I'm going to set it on 5. We have an ID here, we have to later on assign the proper ID. Let's save this, and probably what we need to do here is adding some more items because we need to put in the target tracker text. Alright, so we're very close to it. We only need to the target tracker text above, like this here, and a horizontal line, so let's make that one right now. So in here we'll say h5, as this is a slightly bigger one, and then we say as text title of card title, if I'm not mistaken. And then we can say here sales tracker. And then what we do more is HR, save this, go back to our bar chart or our combo chart, sales tracker, there we are. That looks nice. If we compare this, target tracker, sales tracker, it doesn't matter, whatever you want to call it. Alright, so this is nice. Here what we can do is to avoid the min, because there should be never a below sales. So we can say here minimum. It would make sense not even to put in 0, means no targets, but it's possible. You should have maybe 1 or above, but I'll just do minimum of 0, meaning that if we press down, oh, and did I put, oh sorry, I put in the wrong one, I put it in the color, so I need to put it here, save this, refresh. Now if I go down, there you are. I cannot go lower than that unless I hard type it, maybe. Unless I do it like this, if I type it, that might be possible, but that's the only option. But if I use my key arrows, that's not possible, and that's fine. Alright, so we've got these. Now we have our design here. We're going to give it an ID. So what are the IDs? So what is the next step here? Let's double check. Input field with the ID name. So what's the ID? It will be very simple. We say here achieve target, or target hits, target not hits, anything you want. So what we do here, achieve target, alright, that's fine. Oh, here, that's this one. We can do here the color codes, and the color code will be this. Color achieve or success, that's probably a better one, color success. And here target not achieve is color failed. And here, this will be the color tracker, as this is our tracker. So we have these IDs, and these IDs are important. Alright, so we've got this now. We're done with that part. Let's look what we need to do now. We will connect the input fields with IDs in JavaScript. Alright, so we can start doing that now. So we are right now here on our chart, and we're going now to the script version or the JavaScript part. And here we can say, before I even do something, I will adjust this to const as a constant, because this is the more modern version of JavaScript to write. That's more better to use. Alright, and here we have another constant, and this constant will be, let's see, this is the color success. We're going to give that as a constant name, and this constant name will be document.getElement. And what are we basically getting? Well, we're going to get the color success ID. So get in the document the ID name of color success, which is the color picker. The same story we do here is for our field, color field, and then we say not success but field. And finally what we will do is color tracker. And the color tracker is specifically target on the line, and so that's the one we're going to focus on first, because that's a color we can use. Alright, we've got this. The next one, what we also need to do is constant, and then we say here, we have that, let me double check here. You can see here, this one we almost forgot, this is the tracker. So it's a tracker value or tracker, it's fine. So we say here the following, tracker equals document.getElement by ID, and then the same here, tracker, where we will get here the tracker value. To understand this, what we're doing here, let me show you this. We have console.log, and then here we have the tracker. Well, let's get the tracker color first. And here we have another one, and I'll say this color.value. I'm going to save this and I'm going to show you this, because basically now we are able to communicate or cross-communicate between HTML or get something from HTML and insert it in JavaScript. That's basically what we did so far. So let's refresh here. You see nothing happens, but if I open up my console log where I can see the messenger or the messages, basically the communication from HTML to JavaScript, you can see now in this case, we can see the input. We have two items here, a value and the input color ID. If you remember this one, we got this one, the const color tracker is basically the entire input value, including the color and the values, everything in here. However, we don't want that. What we are looking for is very specifically this item, which is the specific value in this input, which is the answer here. As you can see now, you probably will figure out that this will input or impact directly what we need. So let's copy this. We go down to our chart and a chart text here. And in here, we're going to give it a background color or border color. Well, in our case, our border color will be this value here. The background color, right now we're going to remove that because we don't need any background color. As you can see here, we don't need this background color. What we want is the line here, this line here. So we're going to solve that one by we say here transparent. So the background color is transparent, while the border color is whatever value we assign to. What is the value we assign to this? Well, let's change this to 0, 0, so it becomes 100% black. So it's 0, 0, everything 0. 6 digits, all 0. It makes it all black. Go back here. And then we go here, and let's close this for now. Refresh. As you can see, we have this black, but there's somehow something happening here, which is not a problem. Transparent is not defined. Alright, so I'm going to show you what's going on here. This is a mistake from my side, sorry about that. Remember, transparent is a text. The text is a string, meaning there must be single quotation in here. Save. Refresh, there you are. Alright, so we got now a certain part. We're not done yet, but you can see we have these lines here and the line shows up, but we're getting close to it. So what we're going to do now is we already connected them. We're going to continue on building the combo chart line, the combo bar line chart structure. That's the right way to pronounce it. So what do we need more? Well, we have the values here. Now here I'm going to show you a trick, and this is really an important trick to use. What we're going to do here is the color tracker value. We have the tracker. And to keep it short, I'm going to put another const. And I say t equals tracker.value. And the reason I'm doing that is you will see later on we're going to use this multiple times, and this will make it, it's just shorten the code a bit. Let's save this. And if we refresh here, you will see this is number 5, which is correct here. Alright, so that's correct. So what we're going to do here now is the value of our numbers from our data. So we're going to put in the data here, but I'm going to put this in t, and I'll just do it multiple times here. And let's copy this. And you will see here a total of 12 items. So that's fine. This is supposed to be names. For now, I'll just leave it as this, but we can do any kind of names here. I'll just make it. This is August, and later on we can adjust that if desired. However, this is the least important one. August, September, October, November, and finally December. So once we have this, we have 4 values. We have 12 values here, 12 values below. Oh, that's the wrong button. My apologies. Alright, so now you can see we have 12 values here. That looks nice. That's fair enough. Let's close this for now. This is what we have. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create the bar chart as well. And the bar chart will be based on certain values, but to make a combo bar chart, we're going to copy all of this text here. We're going to make a comma. We have this here, and then the only thing what we will add here is we put a comma here below, and then we copy this text here, the type, put it in here, and now is our type a bar chart. So if we refresh this, let's see what happened now. I'm not sure if we are showing everything because the lines might be not showing here. So let me remove this and make this blue. There you are. All right. So it started to show, but it's hard to see because it was transparent. So now we have the right colors, and now you can see it start to work. Well, there are some parts being chopped off. Don't worry about that. It's like basically being cut. Don't worry about that. We're going to work with that. So what we're going to do now is the following. We have our colors here, the color tracker field, and what we need to do now is we need to loop that through a value with an if statement. I'm going to remove this. And the reason why I'm going to move this an if statement is because we need to first check. Basically, we're doing this. Number one, we will check first what is the value. What is the value of that array? Is this 5 or less? Or what? Well, what we can do is, sorry, that's for the colors. What we need to do first is just simply here, just add in some variables. And what I will do is I'm going to remove this, and I'll say here data values, or data. Sales data, that's probably the best, sales data. Because I'm going one step too fast, I realize. And what we're going to do here is we say const data values equal, we have here the value, so we're going to put in here 12 digits. So I'll say 2, 5, 12, 7, 8, 1, 7, 9, 3, 2. Alright, let's double check if I am correct. We have now 4, this, alright, so here 4 and 3. Alright, we have 12 digits now. This is correct. And I'm doing it here in a const, and that's very important because we need this to calculate. So we have the sales data now. Let's save that, refresh. As you can see now it starts to work perfectly, but we're not done yet because now what we have the data, but we want to make sure it starts to understand when to give the right color. Basically it's this, there's an if statement in here. It will loop through first through the value. It will say, alright, this first value in the array, because this is the array what we have, the sales data array, and then we say the first value here, whatever we have to figure out, that's step 1. What number? What number? And then once you have the number, what is the target condition or the target number? And 3, once we have that, which is the tracker value here in this case, compare if the number is higher or lower. If higher, show color success. If lower, show color failed. That's basically what we're going to do here. So we're going to loop through this array. So what we're going to do now is basically the following. We are going to put in here a blank array. And the reason why I'm doing a blank array here, we just const. And this const will be bar color. And the goal of this is very simply, we have an empty array, and this empty array will be eventually filled with the right color depending on our dependencies, which is this, plus our tracker value. And of course here. So if it's a success, give it the color success, and else, or if it's failed, give it the color failed. So that's what we're going to do now. So what we're going to do here first is create a for loop. So we say for, and in here we say index, or I for index, equals 0. So that's the number 1. So once it equals 0, what we have more is we say if I then is smaller than and smaller than what? Then our sales data keep on looping, basically, the sales data length, yes? And the reason why is this, we want to say how many times we need to loop it. Well, how many times do we need to loop it? Well, depending on how many values we have here. If you want to understand what does it show, let's say here console.log, and let's put in here and see what sales data length really says. Alright, so I'm going to comment this out first because it's not yet done, but we can check here, refresh, open parentheses. You can see here now we have to loop it 12 times. Alright, so it sees here exactly what we want, the amount of the value or how many values are in the sales data or array, so that's fine. So if that is the case, and then let's put this back into place, keep on going, and then always put in a value on the I or the index, keep on increasing. So once we have that, then in here we're going to create our if statement. And if you want to see what is the item here, we can always use the values, but that's no problem. What we're going to do now is we're going to do this. We have the if statement, and the if statement is basically this value here. We will say chart data, or sorry, not chart data, it's sales data. Sales data, and then the array value, which is now the I. And the reason why is that once we're looping through it, we need to get the individual one. What is the individual value? It's number 2 here. We can do a console here to see that as well. Console.log. And we say here, show me the sales data. Let's comment this out, save this, console, make sure you respell it correctly. And then you can see, you start to show all the individual values here, which is correct. Alright, so that works, so we are on the right spot. So if our sales data is correct here, or is below or equal to what exactly, depending on it, RT, basically this value here, the sales tracking value or the sales tracker value. So if it's equal or above this value, in that case, so if that's true, alright, if that is true, and then I have to remove this, if that is true, in that case, we're going to show here the value. So we say bar color I, which is the first one, equals, what does it equals? Our success color. Else, in that case, if it's not the case, so if we are below the value of the tracker with number T, in that case, we have our bar color will become filled, which is this one here. Alright, so we've got this now. Let's start and add this bar color constant in here. So we have here the data, which is the sales, so the sales data, and then we have here the bar color, which is basically this one here. So we can use and adjust this now. And it is the border color. Well, we can adjust it to the bar color as well. This will be the second data set. Alright, so once we have that, let's refresh and let's double check here if something is going correct or we're having an issue here. Alright, so we just have to check here what's going on. So we go here. If this is the case, then the bar color, are we talking about the right bar color? Let's double check. Of course, sorry, my apologies here. We have to get the value as well, dot value. And here as well, dot value, extract the value of it. So if you have that, that's the case. Alright. So now we have this, but if we still adjust this, as you can see, nothing happens. And the reason why nothing happens is simply this. It's not yet connected. So we have the colors here now. And now what we're going to do is we're going to create the update function where we basically update the values or the color code based on inputs. Alright, so in here we're going to create a new function. And this function, what we call update chart, will be updating the chart based on a certain condition. Yes, and basically here what we need to do is we need to create a trigger. So we're going to put in here, let's see where is it nice to put in, just here below. And here we call, I'll say here, trigger event. So what's the trigger event? Basically the moment we select this and do something like on change or on select, in this case on change, and here as well on change. Oh, that's this one here, but we have to go this one. If we are here on change or that on change, at that very moment we should see adjustments. Yes, oh, that's the trigger moment. So then we need to do here a add event listener. So basically we will get the ID again. So we have the color success here dot add event listener. And here, what are we going to do? Well, the moment on change. So if it's change, well, what event are we going to trigger? Update chart. All right, and why update chart? Well, we created this function here. This function will be triggered the moment we have a change here. Same story here, exactly the same for success color. We have here, all right, field color. We have as well the tracker color or color tracker. Yes, that's correct, tracker color, and of course the tracker value. T.add_event listener. So all of these will be exactly same triggered. There we are. So now we're done here. We can now put it in here. Oh, sorry, not in the option, but we need to do it in the functions. So in these functions, what we're going to do first is we're going to do one first, so to see how it responds. And what I'm going to do is we're going to get the most easiest one, which is the value itself. So we say here const update tracker value. And what is this? The const update tracker value is basically this here. Is this, oh sorry, no, this is hold on. Yes, that is correct, sorry. Then so we have the update tracker value is this. So basically this one, of course, why this? The T here is the event listener on change, and this is basically the more specifically here, the tracker, this ID here. So this is the ID matching with our input. So no need to worry about that, so that's correct. So once we have that, what we need to do next is to indicate what are we going to update or which item specifically. So because the tracker is related to this here, and now if we go here, we go into chart, and in chart we go to data, and then in data sets, and then to data. So that's what we're going to do here. So we say here chart.data sets, and then here 0.data. Alright, so the reason why 0 is because this is the first one in the array, and arrays are always or very commonly 0 based, meaning that it starts counting at 0. So this is 0 and this is number 1, while this is the second one in the array. Alright, so that's very important. And we say this value is what exactly? It's this one here. So this new value here that's being updated, and we assign that to replace the existing data with this new variable. That's basically what we're doing. And then once we did that, we say chart.update the function. That's the update function, and there we are. Semicolon, save this. And let's see. All right, it gives an error here. Add event listener. Let's double check. On change, update chart. Probably this one is maybe not allowed, because it's a value here. So we can remove that by just saying the tracker. Doesn't recognize it because that's only a value. It's only extracts the value, while this is the ID. So that makes sense. So probably here, now if we save this, then here what we need to do is to make sure that this part is same here. So I will say here const This is the const tracker. All right. Let's check here down to see if this part then is correct. So the moment it is tracked, oh well, we can just test this first. Once we have that here, all right. Then we double check if this works. The moment we adjust this, you can see it doesn't work yet because it probably doesn't support this command. So what we can do here, I'll just do this here. We have this one here, we keep that. What we do is we just put this 12 times in here. Alright, so I was hoping that it would be shorter, but sadly enough, it's not possible. It does make sense, so this is better. Alright, so once we did this, remove this one here, and remove this here, and then we should have a working version. Double check here. Alright, there we are. Now it works. However, our colors doesn't work yet, but you can see here this part is becoming responsive. So what we can do next is we're going to the colors. Let's go and check on the colors here. So once we are on the colors, basically with the colors, we can remove this console here. No need for that. But in the colors, it's very similar as what we did just. And what we need to do is basically just copy this part here, because we need to recalculate again. Oh, recalculate this. So we go down here, we put in this, we assign all of these. We have the if and a value, and here what we need to adjust, I'm going to adjust this one here. This is the tracker value. So let's double check now what we have. So we have this, and then we say here const. I'm going to copy this as well. But here, the const, this will be updated bar color. Let's give it like that. So once that's the case, we have updated bar color. Where are we going to assign the updated bar color? Well, basically, very similar to this, except now we're not going to target what we did with the data set here, and we still need to give here some colors later on. But we're going to focus on the second data set here, which is data set number 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy this. And then we have that. And this here, the bar color, updated bar color, will be set into motion here. And this will be number 1. And we don't have only the data set with data, because where we want to adjust that, we want to adjust background color and border color. Copy this and place it in here. So now we have that adjusted, because where are we going is basically what's this. We go from chart to data to the second data set, which is this one here, which is number 1, and then background color and border color. So once we did that, also we need the border color. There we are. Next one, and that's finally the last one, will be const. And this const will be specifically target on the tracker color. We have the tracker color value, and what we want to do, the tracker color value, is now the updated tracker color. And this one is simple because this is a fixed command, which makes it easy for us. Color tracker. Paste it in there, and once we did that, we got this all together. Put it in here as well, so I will just put it here below. And then we say your chart.data sets 0. And then my question now for you is, where do we going to put in the tracker color? Well, you probably guess it. It should be here in the border color from data set 0, because that's this one, and then the border color here. All right. And we did that equals update the track or updated tracker color. All right. So once we did that, let's save this here and let's double check if we got everything correct now. No, we see that we have still some errors. Let's double check here. Cannot access tracker value. The tracker value. Let's see, why are we missing, or what are we missing here that starts to create an error. The updated tracker color was correct. If we do this, gives an error as well. Can I access the updated tracker value for initialization? Alright, so let's explore what's going on here. Alright, so let's figure out here. So can I access the update tracker value? So after some digging here, you will see the following here. We have here the update tracker value. The update tracker value is this value with this. So this doesn't make any sense. This shouldn't be the update tracker value. No, it should be just here. Basically, the tracker value itself the moment it changes. So that should be in here. The value. Once we save this, refresh, and if we go here, then you see it starts to work, but we have some other errors here, which is the color. Let's double check here what is the issue with the color, and then you will see it very quickly that we are using here the bar color, and that could be better the updated color here. Let's save this, because here it will extract the updated color, but the updated color was assigned as none because it was readjusting on the other one, which was the other value, which was not the right value for us. So let's refresh this, and now if you go up and down, there we are. So now we have this almost done. So that looks quite nice. What we can do still more is we can imagine, if you look at the difference here, here we remove the grid lines and we remove some of these dots here. You will see here, if you hover over very carefully, the specific item here, like this for the line. However, if you are on the bar chart, you will not notice it at all. So let's do that one. Let's remove the legend and adjust the grid lines here immediately. So for that, we go back here up to options, and then in the option we say legend, and here display false. Once you save that, refresh. As you can see now it starts to work. We can do a few more items. So we say the following is scales, and scales is divided by x-axis and the y-axis. So the x-axis, and this you have to be brackets because it's a multiple array. So the x-axis is focused on this, meaning everything on this line. So that's this line connected here, that goes from down to up or top to bottom. These lines should be removed. So we say scales, and then we say here grid lines, and in grid lines we say enable, say false. Let's save that. Oh, that doesn't work. Let's say if it's display, that doesn't work as well. Alright, so that would mean only one thing, it's false directly. No, doesn't work. So let's double check here. Am I missing something here? Scales, x-axis, grid line, false. Let's double check that. Alright, so I figured out the issue, which was horrible. As you can see here, legend, display, and then here we need to put in curly braces to make sure that these two are closed, and then we have this, and then we have the axis here going too fast, and apparently I skipped something but I didn't notice about. Alright, so now we have this correct. Grid line should be false, that is the one we need. Let's check again. X-axis, unexpected item here. Let's double check. Alright, so I realized we have here a very tiny error, which is a colon. So today was it's really tough, but alright, we almost made it. We're almost there. We removed the scales. Let's do the same for the y-axis, and I'll just copy this to ensure that this works. Y-axis, remove the comma here below. There we are. Bam, that works. Alright, we're getting close to it. Now what I want to do is I want to remove the lines below and the above one here. So these are the ticks. Ticks. And then ticks we can say display false. Let's double check if this works. Alright, that's correct. And same story here above. Ticks. Display false. That works as well. Oh, I'm gonna comma here, save this, bam, that works as well. What I want to do is I want to put some padding here around the canvas so that it's being pushed more down. So we're going down padding canvas. And my apologies for those multiple mistakes. I'm not sure what happened today. Today I made many. However, we're getting close to it. Alright, so we say here in the canvas class-p3, meaning padding. There we are. Alright, so we have these here, and we still have to solve this line here. I want to remove these points. So what we can do in chart.js, we're going to the points. So we go here to our line chart, because it's specific to the line chart. We're going to remove that point here. So we have the point border color, or the point width, or the point hit no, not the hit radius, the point radius, if I'm not mistaken. The hover radius, or the point hover border color. We can use this one. So we say here the point hover border color, which we put in here in the options. Say here transparent, and then comma, and then we also have the point border color, if I'm not mistaken. The point border color, point border width, point border color. We will also make this transparent, and the reason why I'm doing that is just simply for this. If we go to our item here, if you hover over, you will see a color. As you can see, it starts to go slightly bigger, and also by default there's a circle. So we're going to just remove them, or hide them visually. Transparent. Alright, comma here at the end. Make sure you have the comma. Save this. Refresh. Oh, did I save this correctly? Refresh. Doesn't work. Alright, let's double check here. The point border color, we have the transparent point border hover. Okay, what are we missing more? That is not working. Let's double check here. The line border width, border hit radius, the point hover background color, point hover border color, border width, the point hover radius. We could probably put this on a 0 as well, and the point radius, same story. 0, comma, and point radius 0, comma. Alright, and it's gonna work. Alright, we'll figure that later on. What I want to do first is I want to get these sides ready here to how can we get them like this here, as you can see. So this is a tiny trick here, and that trick is quite simple. Basically it's the following. We are going to extend the amount of values here. Here we're going to put in value, and this value we leave blank. There's nothing in here. And what we're going to do here in the labels is we're going to make another label, and that is blank as well. Nothing in there. So let's see what happened. Now you can see we start to have these. Alright, but as you can see here, it starts to push the others away. And that is not what we want. So we are almost ready. What we're going to do here is we're going to put in 2 more of these values. So there will be at the beginning, at the end, there will be more. And that will create, or that will push the values around. Alright, so we have one part here that's working, December. So we just have to only solve the December item. So we have this value here, that is fine. Have to make sure we have everything here. This one should be 14 as well. And 4, we have here 4, and alright, that's 14. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, that's good as well. So what we need to do here is comma. Let's check. Oh, and go up here, refresh. So now we have these here, and then I'm going to remove the ticks at the bottom as well. So we have this now, as you can see here now. We're going to check here later on how to cut this even more by removing all these dots here. So basically what I did was we put it around here, we put two empty values in here, but also here two empty values in the labels, seeing that those are not being shown anything at all. And that's the trick here. Alright, then we have next here, let's double check here. We have to put in the ticks. Let's see what this is here. The ticks display false y-axis. Here we have the grid lines. And we have the ticks. Alright. This one is in here. Let's double check why is this like that. This should be in here in reality. Let's save. There we are. Alright, so now it starts to work, and the reason why was the ticks should be in here, and probably I realized that these indentations are absolutely a mess. Apologies for that, because they should be bigger indentations. That's why it looks so hard to view this. Alright, so now we've got this, and if we refresh here, we get that, and now I can just later on check on that one. But if we adjust this, you can see now our colors start to adjust. If I change this into making this a blue, and I will increase the values here, this becomes blue. If I make this one pinkish, you can see this works as well. There we are. And if we adjust this color here to red, we have a red line as well. So this works nicely. So let's check here what is exactly the part that I'm missing related to this point hover radius and the background color. Alright, so what we need to do is, I realize this needs to be in a other location. We need to relocate this because we are in a combo line bar chart, and we're going to put it in here. We save this in here. There we are. There we are. Comma here, and remove this comma here. Let's save this here. Refresh. Now we are exactly what we want, and if you move over, you can see one value here only, and this is exactly what we need. So this was a quite tough one. I was not expecting it to be that soft, so many mistakes. Maybe I will remake this video, but for now that's alright, as this shows you the most important part. So if you have any questions regarding to this, which I won't be surprised if you have, let me know in the comment section below. And if you like these kind of videos where you learn this kind of crazy dashboards, subscribe to my YouTube channel.